The week that followed, honestly, it was like a fever dream. I'd Uber to her grandma's house at 2 a.m. and we'd hook up. No, with grandma in the house. No, with grandma.
Oh, sorry, but there's something so funny about like I'd Uber to her grandma's house at 2 a.m. and we'd have raunchy coitus.
Poor grandma. Grandma's like cowering under like her picture frames and then doing like with a cross to her chest as she hears these like hyenas on a carcass makeout sessions. She's like, oh God, protect me.
You must buy the merch, MataraCon.shop, buy the merch. Today's message was brought to you by Early Morning Voice Matara.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trashlight Confidential, the show where we read your trashy, juicy, and most importantly, confidential stories. I am your host, Matara Khan of Independent, and if you would like for a chance for your story to be read, submit them to us. We have a little document below, and who knows, maybe we could be reading and reacting to your stories in the future. Now, I cannot believe we're already on episode 5, and you are only now meeting my special guest for today, the one, the only, my true love, my content wife, Limealicious.
Hello, it is me, Limealicious, officially known as the content wife of Matara. I am very excited to be here. I don't do things like this very often. I'm very, very excited. Sorry, I had like adjusted myself in my chair and my hip was like, what if I cracked right now?
What if I hurt you, you hag? Oh my goodness. So Limes is my fellow hag, my fellow woman, very much adore her. And one of the reasons that you don't do these kind of things very often is because you're always streaming 10 hours a day, almost every day. What's up with that?
A million hours a day. I really like video games.
Yeah,
A little known fact about me, I like video games quite a bit. I've been doing it's closer to like 7-ish hours a day since like I don't know, that routine's been like since 2017. We go hard for video games and I still can't finish any, so
It's
there aren't
gotten
enough hours in the
tougher.
day.
I feel like, I don't understand how anybody watching has time for video games when I play video games for work and I don't have time for video games. Right? Like, how is this? Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy, like especially when like you get those release periods where it's like, okay, what if 6 really cool games
oh.
came out at once? And it's like, good luck finish any of them. I've still got like Kingdom Come Deliverance, Lies of P, Death Stranding. They're
Oh,
all
let's give
piling
you
up and they're all like
Expedition 33 too, by the way. Have fun with
Expedition
that.
33. Yeah, it's all like, 20 to potentially like 50-hour experiences. And it's like, okay, I there's no, I don't know how I'm
You
gonna do
say
all this.
50. I spent 8 hours next to, what is it, Skelets? Like, getting flowers from the ground, leveling up my strength. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, the original Kingdom Come, it's just like you start at literally rock bottom, and I think it would have been like outside Ratai when you first like start up and everything. Because I remember
mhm.
like trying to grind flowers and
Oh my
trying to
God.
rob people and being so incompetent. I spent half my time in jail, and it's like okay.
No, I found the strat. It's flower picking simulator. That's it.
It is,
Everybody's
yeah.
just
You gotta put
watching
like
me. Yeah.
yeah, like 700 of them, selling them for tiny amounts. It's like, please,
Please buy
a
my
single coin, my
flowers.
lord.
But yeah, there's just so many games. It's a good time to be a gamer, but also it's stressful as a streamer because somebody will come in and be like, "Can you please finish that game?" And in your mind, it's also like, "I'm sorry, buddy. It's been 3 months. I don't remember the story anymore. I'm on to another game now. I'm
Yeah,
replaying."
yeah.
You and I just recently played. You made me play your favorite game, one of them, Resident Evil, and that was
Yes.
super fun. So there's
Yes,
also
we
replaying
still
your
technically
favorites.
haven't even finished it because we got
Oh,
DLC to do and all of that. So it's like
ooh, soon,
there's like
soon,
a
this
creepy
summer.
haunted mansion DLC, which is pretty cool.
Oh, and I'll
So
be able to wear like my sexy Sheva outfit.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, actually no you won't because it's Jill and Chris. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry, denied.
Jill.
Denied.
Jill.
Yeah. Jill, step out of it, Jill.
Jill, it's me, Chris. That
What's
was
wrong with you, Jill? Do you remember me? God, I love Chris.
the whole
Stupid
time
meatball.
when we were playing. Okay, we're going to get to the story shortly, but I just have to say, we have, I think on both our channels, we have an edited video and we have the VODs of us playing. Obviously, we spammed Chris, Sheva, Chris, but she wore this outfit that kind of looks like it's from what is it? The Raiders from Fallout. It kind of looks like one of those. Every single time I saw that man's luscious
His man titties.
body.
Can we say man titties here?
Oh my god! It would be such a serious, dramatic scene, and then it's just Chris's nipple in leather.
Yeah, like pans over to him and his sunglasses and everything. No, it's glorious. It's actually I usually play Sheva, but I knew that you wouldn't have that outfit, and I wanted to show it to you, so I played Chris purely so that I could show you his stupid sexy Chris outfit.
It kept getting me distracted every goddamn time. Every goddamn time I would see it, I'd be like, "What the?" Like, it would be the most serious scene. The virus, da, 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 da. And then just Chris and his goofy glass.
And his like neck that's as wide as the very widest point of his head, and he's got like biceps like watermelons. Beautiful,
Oh my
yeah.
god! You know, I kind of realize he reminds me of Chris Evans in the Fantastic Four.
Oh, you mean like actual like when he was Johnny?
When he was baby Chris
When
Evans
he
in the
was
Fantastic
super
Four.
baby, yeah, with that 2000s like haircut.
The
It was like
buzz
kind of
cut.
like buzzed. Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, baby girl. Without further ado, would you like to start with the story, or would you like me to start with the story? We got a fresh, juicy new batch.
If you want to lead in and demonstrate by example, you can go first.
Well, this one caught This one caught my eye. Also, I'm on my second cup of coffee, and yet my brain has not caught up to my voice. I make adult games for a living, and I am living a lie. Juicy.
I didn't even see that one. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go.
Are you sad? Did you want to read it?
No. You go for it. It's also a lot of words, and I have aligners in, so all yours.
If we hear the cute lisp, I can't wait. I'm sorry.
It's happened a couple of times, but like people are less sensitive to it now because it's more subtle than it was on day one.
I will say, when you first put in your line, whatever I heard it more, but I haven't heard it at all today, except that one time that just happened.
Yeah, no, it sucked because like day one streaming with them in, I had a sponsor, and like I was going back through the footage for like highlights and stuff, and I'm so lispy, and it's like I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's very cute. Okay. I make adult games for a living, and I am living a lie. Also, you don't have to read dramatically, but just I'm in a very dramatic mood.
Okay.
I'm a young 25-year-old man. First off, remember being 25, the good old days.
I've been 25 for some time. 25 every year, dude.
Oh God, back when it didn't hurt to wake up in the morning. Back when my breasts held themselves. Oh God.
Oh Christ.
Sorry, I don't know. Wow, I'm on a mood today. For most of my life,
Apparently.
I've been a huge nerd when it came to video games. From when I first played Warcraft 2 on my brother's PlayStation. Wait, what?
Wait, was Warcraft on
a
Warcraft was not on
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Okay, you
Was
too.
it?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No.
Look it up. Look it up.
Is this a lie? Have we caught
Is this a lie?
have
The
we caught
first
them in a lie?
Are you actually a 25-year-old
wait.
person?
Wait, no. I've looked it up. This version of the game is for a kid who had to play Warcraft 2 but didn't own a PC. It's super clunky to play. Apparently, it's a thing?
Okay.
Wait. I've literally never heard about this.
Me
Platforms,
neither.
MS-DOS, Classic Mac OS, Saturn, PlayStation, and Windows. It was on the Saturn. Holy shit.
Oh
my God. All
God.
right. Fair enough.
All right. 25-year-old
The
with
truth.
Saturn. Well, like he did say it was his brother's. Okay. Moving on. Oh, today's episode is going to be a lot of interruptions. I'm excited about it. And to now enjoy, when I first played Warcraft 2 on my brother's PlayStation to now when I enjoyed masterpieces like Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Being such a huge nerd also meant I spent a lot of time in my room playing games. But I was never a loud kid. No screaming at my monitor except for the few embarrassing moments my parents could hear me sing my heart out in my room. Because of this, my parents have come to know me as their innocent child, and being their youngest, I feel there are often expectations of being the perfect child. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm well behaved, except I make porn. Ooga booga booga.
Well, also, I don't know. Youngest child is never expected to be perfect, is
Right?
it? Me
It's
with
the
oldest
oldest.
child syndrome. I feel like I had
Mhm.
way more pressures, and then by the time my brother rolled around, they were kind of like, whatever.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
done it
they're
all
like, "You know
before.
what? You live your" Yeah, I also feel like I've heard that. I don't know. A lot
Yeah,
of stuff, a lot
yeah.
of stuff. 5 years ago oh my god, such a youth. I began making adult video games as an attempt to make money while I studied. I think it's pretty safe to say that it has worked out. 3 years ago, I dropped out of university to work full-time on my adult games. On a quick side note, when I say adult games, I mean adult! Exclamation mark in full capital letters. Pornographic to the fullest extent. I write the story. I model the character in 3D. I render the images. I animate the positions. Everything you can think of, I probably do. Oh my
Does he
God.
voice act it though?
Serious question. Do you voice
Yeah,
act
yeah.
it though?
The
I
people need to
make the
know.
moans. So, wow, we are starting off like I almost said hard. We are starting off strong. Um, all of my friends and family are very curious about what I do. Whenever I visit family or hang out with friends, the questions start en masse. While they know that I make video games, they obviously don't know which kind. They are very inquisitive about seeing my work, learn about the industry, hear about my work, how my work itself is going. Personally, I love to answer those questions, but given that my family is pretty conservative, only a very select few of my friends know the nature of my games. I only answer the questions pretty vaguely. However, it had gotten to the point where I might be living a double life. I have to say, when you answer things vaguely, sometimes it makes people want to know more. Have you noticed that?
Mm-mm-mm.
If you're like, oh, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
game, can't really share, they're like, really? And they ask so much more questions.
Yeah, yeah, especially like, depending on what you do, like VTubing. Yeah, no, it just makes
Hmm.
people more curious.
It really does. Every week, my mother calls me on the phone to ensure that I'm doing fine. The normal, loving mother thing to do. Of course, one of those questions always involves my work, to which I respond vaguely, it's fine. Though I don't like lying to my mother. I feel like this is a lie I would rather take to the grave than have my mother's innocent little heart shattered. When they ask about seeing my work, I always give an excuse like, oh, it's personal, which I think is fine. But lying is not my best fit. It's getting hard to keep track of these lies. I even had to change up a lie a few weeks ago when my brother noticed that something in my lies weren't adding up. Even my favorite barber in town is starting to ask questions. If I could, this type of work is something I would do for the rest of my life. But given the state of the world, this type of work is also getting more and more restricted. In turn, many people are also getting more and more on either side of the spectrum of whether sex work is good or bad. I know which side my family leans on. I've been on that side myself, so I know minds can change. But I also know some minds are too stubborn. Personally, I feel like I should keep this lie going for as long as I can, but there are always consequences. The question is just, what are the consequences? And are they worth it? I hope that was
Hmm.
readable. I don't intend to share this with my proofreaders to ensure grammatical errors are gone. You did great. First of all, thank you so much for submitting your little confession. I wanted to say dirty little secret, but there's nothing dirty about it. It's your work. It's your
No.
job.
It's
Um,
yeah, it's an interesting one, like the questions at the
mhm,
end and stuff. Like
mhm.
personally, I remember talking about VTubing with my mother and like all of like the more risque stuff, and she was like, "You girl." So my mom's great. Um, but I have read stories about like specifically there was like one of the subreddits I like to frequent on Reddit is about legal advice, right?
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
this one specifically was for an author who had gotten debanked, as in like the major banks would no longer deal with them
No.
because when they were doing like, submitting audits and stuff, it was found out that what they wrote was extremely explicit erotic novels
Oh, and they didn't want to
with
fund it.
yeah, well, essentially because it included do you know like in the Alien series? I don't know what I can say here. I don't want to say
Yeah,
this.
you
You know, like in the Alien series where the face huggers put the eggs into
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Some of the the novels included things like that. And
Okay.
I think like, the banks looked at that and went, that's probably, we don't
Mm.
want it. That's kind of
Ooh,
illegal,
alien
dude.
eggs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
illegal, but this
So
is
like,
also
with
this is a
with
novel.
where
This is
that
a
went.
goddamn novel. What do you mean? If you can't write
Yeah.
about aliens inserting gosh dang eggs inside human bodies for those eggs to hatch inside them, I don't want it. I don't want to live in this
I
kind of a
can tell
world.
this is a very personal issue for you,
It is.
Matara, and I
It
wonder
really
why.
is. For anybody that doesn't know,
But
that's
yeah,
how the
they
momos are born. That's messed up,
yeah,
girl. Go on,
they
sorry.
legitimately got debanked, and I think it's because like, when there's this like crossover point where things that are normalized in certain spaces, like especially like fetish spaces on the
Mm-hmm.
internet, when they clash horribly with real life where those things are no longer
Yeah.
normalized,
Yeah.
the consequences actually do end up being like stuff you wouldn't expect,
Yeah.
because suddenly you've got this person who does like a 9 to 5 like risk
Mm-hmm.
assessment in a bank or something is exposed to what you write, and they're like, what in the ever loving shit?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but
no,
it reminded me of
the
that.
whole point of this is tangents, girl. Don't even sweat it. I will be honest with you. So I do think, okay, I just want you to kind of understand the situation. If you don't tell your parents about this or your family, I need you to understand that they will keep asking, and they will keep asking forever. And eventually they will keep asking more and more. So if you're not going to tell them, I recommend maybe writing a really good list of lies for you to say. So that way, instead of always making up new lies, you're just going to make a list of like, these are the current lies I tell my parents about my work. And then just always go through that list, because unfortunately, they're going to just keep asking, right? They're going to keep asking, and and maybe one day you're going to slip up. That being said, you don't have to tell them. I don't care who anybody is. You're an adult person. You don't have to tell your mom, your dad that you write porn if you don't want to. You don't have to tell anybody that you write porn if you don't want to, because you are correct. As even Limes just mentioned, some people will judge you, and it's. I'd like to think it's a new, fresh, exciting world, but you never know. The consequence could even be your favorite barber could be like, I don't want to, cut your hair anymore. It could happen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like making it so dramatic, but that is a possibility. You might get disinvited to family Christmas and you might ask, well, why would I want to be with a family that, doesn't want me around? But they might say, oh, what if you tell the kids about it? What if the kids want to do what you're doing in the future? Stuff like that. So I'd say with stuff like this, you always know your family and you always know your peers the best. If your intuition is already telling you not to tell your family, not to tell your close people, then don't, right? But
Yeah, no, that's more than fair. Like, there's always people that like look at it as a super black and white thing, and
yeah,
they're
it's
like,
not.
well, you should be sex positive, which I think is a very
Hmm.
good thing.
Hmm.
But sometimes, like older family members or people who have been raised completely
Yep.
differently wouldn't feel the same way.
Yep.
And, it's not always worth completely nuking that relationship
Agree.
just to feel like, you just to feel more not I can't think of the word.
Maybe like you're
Feel
sticking
more
it to
right,
them.
I
Yeah,
guess.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this is my job. And again, I'm just
Yeah, this
using
is my
this.
job and I'm proud, and you
Yeah.
can be proud while also sparing your mother's feelings, because
Yeah.
it's not necessarily worth putting her through that angst when she's like, happy as she is.
And again, I know for some of you, you might be listening to this and thinking, oh, if your grandparents tell you no more Christmases because of this, they don't deserve you. But it does happen more than we realize, where maybe, and again, I am kind of dramatizing, but maybe, yeah, your grandparents are going to say no more of you at Christmas dinner, because what if you're going to tell your younger cousin who's 14 that this is what you do for work, and then they're going to quit university to do it for work? And it's just, I'd say if you already feel, you said, personally, I feel like I should keep the slide going for as long as I can. Do it, but make a little list and just create a really strong, better lie. Here's a great example. Non-disclosure agreement is the best thing you can do. Just start.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes when people ask me questions I don't want to answer, I just say, sorry, I signed a contract. I can't talk about it. I legally can't tell you anything. Is good. And it is the
Yeah,
truth,
no,
but
that works.
in
Yeah,
your
'cause
case, it's not. But
Yeah, because sometimes you might want to be like, "Oh yeah, I do like 3D animation," and
Hmm.
they then they'll ask more questions. Like, "Oh, can I see examples of your work?" At
Yeah.
that point, that's where you go like, "Oh, legally, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show you because the studios don't want people
Yeah.
to be like doing this, that, and this."
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, they might be like, "Oh, that's not fair. The studios can't take away your credit and your portfolio." And you're like, "Don't worry, I get a totally steady thing of work. It
Yeah.
works for me."
And it works
And
for
then
me.
that's how you shut
Hmm.
it down, and you don't answer anything more specific because you
Yeah.
can just be like, "Sorry, can't discuss it." Easy
And
peasy.
what you can do with your family as well. Not us being like, this is how you lie to your family. But if a cousin asks and then they'll say, just show it to me. You're going to say, yeah, but if I show it just to you, all the other cousins are going to say, can you just show it to me? And then they're going to tell you, oh, I'll never tell anybody else. Really? You'll never tell anybody else ever? Come on. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Good luck lying to your family.
We
Limealicious and
support
Matara
you.
support you in lying to your family. Never stop lying to your family. Thank you so much for submitting your story. And honestly, that's so I love like how crazy that just before we move on to another story, like think about it 20, 30, 40 years ago, making your own game was really rough, right? It was a lot tougher. Now you can self-publish on Steam, itch.io. There's a bunch of other places. You can go on something like Patreon to get funding. Isn't that amazing? You could be
Yeah,
a
it's
guy
kind of
living
like
or a girl living a lie, making video games of porn.
yeah, I wonder also if it's like a double-edged sword though, because with it being more regulated, you have to go through more legitimate means, which means the chances of like actually something being like, it's kind of like, when they were talking about how credit card companies didn't want to work with places. Was it like OnlyFans that got hit by it?
Oh,
Or
I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it was stuff like that. Yeah, there's always a chance that that kind of thing crops up as things get more legitimized. So it's an interesting double-edged sword. It's easier to do, but sometimes it's like, what if they come for me?
Agreed,
Ah!
agreed. Have you heard that there's a lot of games on Steam apparently that are kind of purposely trying to get enough gameplay for the 2 hour mark so you can't refund the game? They put it low, you get the 2 hour mark, and then you can't refund the game, and they basically made their money, but there's no more game after 2 hours.
Oh, I
There's a lot of
hadn't heard
games that
about
like
that.
reskin each other and all that stuff. And yeah,
Mm,
that
mm,
you are
mm.
right though. With things being more accessible, who's to say that more and more people aren't just yeah, uploading little stuff like that. That is also true. That is unfortunately kind of how it works. Hmm.
Yeah, sorry. I opened Steam to be like, huh, that is interesting. And then I saw there was a sale and things were cute. So I'm gonna close Steam now because I
Close
got
Steam.
distracted by all the shiny happy things. So
Close,
I'm
close,
gonna
close, close.
close.
Your turn. Would you like to
Okay.
pick a story? Feel free to read out the story titles if you want, whatever helps you pick a story.
Mm.
Talk me through your process if you wanna.
I I kind of want to just go for like I hooked up with my high school sweetheart because that sounds like it could potentially
Ooh.
have gone horribly. Like I feel like because it's a story, something went horribly wrong. Because if it was I hooked up with my high school sweetheart and now we're happily married and everything is good, that's not juicy. It'd be cute though, I suppose.
It would be cute. Imagine like
Mm.
next week is just people sharing really happy moments of like, oh, I got married to my high school sweetheart. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, no, I want to do that one. I hooked up with my high school sweetheart.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, let me take a drink because
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Lubricate your
wonders.
throat, girl. Sorry for the
Mm.
my language after that first story is gonna be a little suggestive.
Yep. All right. Back in 2011, I got my first girlfriend. Let's call her Roni. We were seniors in high school and we had your classic high school romance. Long story short, she cheated on me with her ex and we broke up. Wait, is that the classic high school romance? I know I started late. Is that what I missed out
Yeah,
on?
what
Jesus.
the hell?
I want to know the other hallmarks of a classic high
Yeah,
school
yeah.
romance if that's the standard. But all right, here we go. Fast forward to 2016, out of nowhere, she reaches out and asks to meet up at Starbucks. I was hesitant, but I figured, why not? Maybe she wanted to clear the air or apologize or something. I knew she was married by then, so I wasn't expecting anything dramatic. The married woman meeting up at Starbucks? Oh my goodness.
Oh no. I'm gonna interject. This is why, sometimes I understand some people can be friends with some exes. I get it. But there are stories where I'm like, really, you're married now and you need to go make amends with your high school sweetheart from years ago. Forgive them in your heart. Why are you meeting up? Anyway, go on. I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
spoil because
I was trying to think about it. I was trying to think about it. I'm like, am I friends with any of my exes? I think I am friends with like one or two, but it was like the less serious relationships, if that
yeah,
makes sense. So less,
yeah.
less like opportunity for things to actually have like hurt enough to
Mm-hmm.
be a problem. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I did have one ex that like
Juicy.
we yeah, no, we became friends afterwards, but I don't know if it was just that like as a person we or as people we no longer vibed, or if there was like lingering
Mm.
resentment or something, because we would just have like really petty, like bitter like
Arguments.
debates. Yeah, not even like full
Relatable.
arguments, just sort of like, like the definition of spaghetti versus pasta or
Mm,
something.
mm,
Or
mm,
no, noodles
mm.
versus pasta was the argument that we had. And it
I
wasn't like fully heated, but like neither of us let it go.
yeah,
So
ever.
I don't know.
I have to say, I think you're such a bigger woman than me for letting them escape with their life. I cannibalize all of my
Just eat them
ex-husbands.
all,
Just
yeah,
eat them
yeah.
all. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to everybody's different about this. There are some people who are able, like a lot of my friends who are gay are like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend. We just broke up. We dated for 5 years. We're in love, but we're super fine. And I'm like, how? But yeah, I feel like sometimes
Mm.
too, especially if like you kind of were never really friends, you developed a friendship through dating, through being married, through all of that. And then it's like, why am I going to talk to my ex-husband? What's the point? Unless you're like raising a kid together or have a dog. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, please continue. Maybe the story will go somewhere else and we don't even know.
Okay, yeah. No, it's gonna be fine. So we met at Starbucks and started talking. She apologized for cheating and also for how her parents treated me back in the day. They were kind of cold, but looking back, I
Ooh.
get it. If I were a parent, I'd probably be protective too.
Yeah.
She also told me she was now divorced and just visiting her hometown to soak in some memories. Ah, the rebound. I see,
Soak
I
in those
see.
memories. She will be.
When we finished talking, I somehow ended up agreeing to walk her to her grandma's house, romantic, which was close by. We took a shortcut through a park she used to play in as a kid, and one thing led to another. We ended up making out. Like aggressively. It was like hyenas on a carcass. Wild.
Okay.
Oh,
That is like hyenas
oh
on a
man.
carcass. I love that.
I don't like that. I have that thing, where mouth noises skeeve me out.
Mm.
So I'm immediately like, I only realized I remember putting on this like this movie, and it had like, I think it was like Wild Wild West or something, and it had like Will Smith making out with this woman, and they'd like dubbed in really sloppy kissing noises, and I was like, no, 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 no. But that actually reminds me, I'm on like skincare subreddits a lot, and this one person was like, my beard is breaking my girlfriend out, right? And like, so it was this whole
Oh,
story.
yeah.
And then at the end, he was like, so we have like 4-hour makeout sessions. And I'm like, 4-hour fucking
that
makeout
would
out
break
session?
anybody out,
this,
buddy.
this is not a skincare issue. This is
No.
a you rubbed her skin raw. This is a friction issue. She no longer has skin left. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God. But yeah, no,
Okay, I'm sorry.
4 hours. Oh.
Okay, but like, what to the lady in that subreddit? I have a question. The lady of that
It was the
subreddit.
man writing it. It was the man
Can
writing
you
it.
please
He
write
was
to
looking
him?
for
And
help.
I need to know word for word what prayers she was telling God for a 4-hour makeout session. What I need to know her specific incantation when she casts her magic spell in the middle of the night. When she prays to God, what was the exact words she used for a 4-hour kissing session? I just want to know. I just want to talk. Hey, God,
I'm
it's me
like the
again.
opposite. Like, what God do I pray to make sure that doesn't happen to me? Because after 4 hours, I'm gonna be like so annoyed.
Okay, 4 is
Like,
a lot,
I
but
think,
like,
yeah, I think like people are different. Like, because for me, 4 hours would be like I would feel. I don't know. I would feel gross and sloppy. To put it
4
mildly.
hours is a lot.
4 hours. It's
but
way too much.
Still, I do miss that. And like I said, hey God, it's me again. You will be hearing from me tonight, God. You will be hearing from my lawyers.
Yeah. Okay. Then she asked me if I wanted to do more things with her. These are adults now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
'cause he
married.
said
Okay,
high
do
school
more
and then
things with
5
her.
years later, yeah.
Yeah. I assume she meant going out again or more makeout sessions. Just high school stuff, right? But no, I was dense. It took me a solid 5 minutes to realize she meant sex. At the time, I was a virgin, so yeah, I agreed eagerly. Oh, bruh. Bruh, oh no. Oh no. The week that followed, honestly, it was like a fever dream. I'd Uber to her grandma's house at 2 a.m. and we'd hook up.
Sorry.
No, with grandma in the house. No, with grandma.
I'm sorry, but there's something so funny about like I'd Uber to her grandma's house at 2 a.m. and we'd have raunchy coitus.
Poor grandma. Grandma's like cowering under like her picture frames and then doing like with a cross to her chest as she hears these like hyenas on a carcass makeout sessions. She's like, oh God, protect me.
The headboard hitting, and like especially because if he says that he was a virgin before, I'm sure that the first time you taste water, you're like, poor grandma,
poor grandma.
Going at it like
I was ecstatic. Constant
Okay,
sex.
Wait, I'm so sorry. And like he didn't say grandpa's house either. So what if poor grandma is like,
Yeah,
she
I think
misses her
grandma's alone
husband?
in this scenario.
She's
Grandma's
just
by
like,
herself.
Damn. When is it my turn? Sorry, please continue.
All right. I felt like I was floating. We even went on a beach trip, just the two of us. Everything felt perfect until it didn't. All right. Twist time, except maybe actually expected outcome time. About a week after our trip, I got home from a college class and collapsed on the couch to watch TV. Is this American college? So how old are they in this scenario?
1920 probably, yeah.
Okay. I got a call from an unknown number. I ignored it. It rang a few times, but I let it vibrate. Didn't even notice it left a voicemail. The next morning, I got on the bus to class and started up my playlist. That's when I saw the voicemail. I figured it was just spam, but I hit play anyway to clear it out. Here's what I heard. Hi, Troy. This is Victor. I'm only going to tell you this once, okay? Stop fucking my wife.
Stop fucking my wife.
Stop fucking
I'm
my
gonna
wife.
try to use that in a collab sometime with like you and me. Somebody says something or I'm like, stop fucking. Are you flirting with my wife? Stop fucking my wife.
Or that or something's killing me because, it's multifaceted. So many meanings.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
I froze. My heart dropped. I started sweating bullets right there on the bus. What the hell? She told me she was divorced. She said it was over. I panicked and texted her immediately. No reply. I got to class, sat there like a ghost thinking, oh my God, I'm a homewrecker. I felt sick. I never in a million years would have messed around with someone's wife. I felt
I'm so
betrayed, ashamed,
sorry.
and incredibly guilty.
For
Later
us
that
to
day,
laugh,
she
though,
finally...
I'm so sorry. That
No,
again,
you're
we're
good, you're
laughing
good.
because it's a funny story, but yeah, I would feel horrendous, and I'm so sorry. Go on.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I would feel terrible too. We're not laughing because it's kind of like we're laughing at the imaginary scenarios we put in our head about
Stop
grandma,
fucking
not
my
because of this
wife.
terrible thing that happened to you.
You saying that the grandma's like under the bed with the cross. She's like, oh no, the demons are in them again.
Satan's in the walls
praying.
again.
Oh no, randomly at 3 a.m. there's noises in my home every night. I think
Yeah,
it's
it starts to like
demon.
presumably like he snuck in and everything, so she'd have no idea the fucking context.
And it always starts the same. It starts with like just bang, bang. And then it speeds up. It speeds up every time.
Call it exorcist. All right. She admitted everything. She was technically still married. She was getting divorced, but the papers weren't finalized yet. So yeah, her ex was still legally her husband. She said she wanted to relive the past with me to do things like we used to. She didn't think it would matter, but obviously it did. After that call, I cut things off completely. I didn't want her in my life anymore. I spent years feeling like I had done something horrible, even if I didn't know the full truth at the time. It took me until a couple of years ago to finally forgive myself. I'm still single today, and yeah, I've got some trust issues because of that whole mess, but I learned, and I never ignore voicemails anymore.
Oh man, I do think it's on her to have been honest. Like I do think she could have been like, look, I am still married, but I am currently going through my divorce. And okay, let me know if you think I'm crossing the line here. I think it would have been okay for him to be like, well, can you show me like a text message or can you show me something to prove this? Do you think that's crossing the line or not? Like, because clearly she broke her word. So I don't know. But I definitely think it was on her to be like, hey, I am still married, but I am looking to get divorced, just so you know. It's the same thing I feel if people live with an ex, right? Where hey, just so you know, I am living with my ex. We do have a cat together, and we are in the process. I am in the process of looking for an apartment, or they are. But I feel like that's something that people should bring up, because when they
Yeah,
don't, it brings up trust issues later. Like,
yeah, I feel like it should be disclosed, and once it's disclosed, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you are no longer actually with your partner and all you're doing is waiting for the legality to roll out, who gives a fuck?
yeah,
Like I don't actually know why she would lie in that situation unless she
yeah,
actually is still half truthing and
yeah.
she wasn't getting divorced. Is the only scenario in which I think like why she would lie there because
Mhm.
or maybe maybe in their experience, the OP Liz didn't like, wouldn't have been okay with it and she knew that maybe. But yeah, no, it's
Mhm,
like
mhm.
so my parents actually are still not formally slash legally divorced because neither of them are planning on getting
Ooh.
remarried. So it's like a whatever kind of thing. They are totally separate and they both
And they
have
have
different
been for
partners.
years.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
been since my first year at university.
Mm,
Yeah, so yeah, they both have different partners now, but I don't think they've ever actually formally gone through with divorcing
that's
because who
kind of
gives a
funny.
fuck at that point?
That's kind
Yeah,
of
like
funny.
yeah, no, everyone know like everyone is consenting, everyone knows there's no problem, nobody's planning on getting remarried. If somebody changed their minds, then they would absolutely legally divorce. But it was like,
Mhm, mhm.
this is a whole lot of effort, nobody cares. So yeah.
But that is, again, a completely different situation. They were both
Yeah, yeah,
much
yeah, yeah,
older
yeah, yeah.
adults, right? Like if you were in university, you were basically the age of the person writing this, right? At the
Yeah,
time
so
when they were writing about, at the age of the person in the story, I mean.
yeah, so yeah, at that point in your life, a lot of people are a lot more firm in their like or
Yeah.
a lot more there's like more of a black and white line on
Hmm,
relationships.
hmm,
So it's like
hmm.
if you are still married, even if you are not actually together with that person anymore, legally you're still married, I'm not interested. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's a fair line to draw. But it should have absolutely been his decision to draw that line. He was not informed. He could not draw that line
So
because it was never presented to him.
I think for me, like, I'm just thinking of the example I gave of, let's say I meet somebody and they tell me, hey, I was married for 3 years. I'm still living with my partner, my ex
Mhm, mhm.
partner. I don't know. I don't know. I think I would have to go case by case, because sometimes when you meet people, the way they talk about their ex or their partner, you can tell that they're over them. But if there's even a little sliver of I'm not fully sure if they're over them or anything like that, and they're still living together, I probably would be like, all right, you know what? When you or her move out and you want to try dating again, I'm around. Let me know if you're still
Mhm,
interested. Like,
mhm.
I can wait. I'm not rushing into anything.
Mm,
Um,
mm, mm.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, like, for me, I personally, providing, they told me, it's whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if they told me it was honest, like, barring any potentially like, oh, they're lying in the background
yeah.
kind of
Mm, mm,
thing.
mm, mm.
Like, say that's not a scenario. Yeah, I wouldn't be bothered because obviously my parents are in exactly the same situation, so it's absolutely whatever. Um, yeah, no, I think it's important to tell people because otherwise there'll be a misunderstanding. Like,
Yeah.
what if I remember actually there was a movie with that same plot line where a woman got cheated on, she found a new guy. The new guy was great. Then she went to the hospital to oh no, she was in hospital visiting a friend and the new guy's mother was in the same hospital and he attended the hospital with his currently legally married wife because his mother was
Ooh.
like
She couldn't
delicate.
remember, or yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
Mhm, mhm.
she was delicate, and he did well in her final months. He didn't want to put the idea that her son was also getting divorced into
Mm,
the mix.
mm,
So
mm.
his ex, his separated wife, still legally married wife, was a very decent woman and was like, yeah, I will totally keep up the
Play it up with you.
pretense
Mhm.
until she dies that we are married just to make it easier on her. Um,
Aw.
but obviously there was then this misunderstanding because new woman did not know that the
Nope.
guy was still legally married and thought that he was also cheating. So it like almost turned into a huge thing. And obviously this is a fictional scenario, but it's very similar. And you absolutely need to tell them because if there's ever an oopsie daisy misunderstanding, you could fuck up a good thing, even though you actually had no untoward intentions.
Yeah, I feel like, though, from the woman's perspective, yeah, I also would, if I'm seeing somebody and then I see them come into the hospital with their legal married wife, I too might be like, hey, buddy, what the heck is
Oh
going on
yeah, no,
here?
it's
Like,
it's very reasonable to be that way, which is why I think you absolutely need to tell them,
yeah.
even if you are like completely separated, living apart and everything. If you are still legally married and pretending to be and pretending to be
Married
together for your
for your
ex-husband's
mom.
mother, then you need to say something.
Uh, I do want to
Uh,
say though, good on you for cutting things off completely. Before we
mhm.
move on to the stories. So I feel like very often people have this idea of like you got to give people more chances. You do. Like it's up to you if you want to give a person a second chance or anything like that. But in your case, it was you saw that she didn't like you saw that she had done it to you already, and now
Yeah,
she's
she
doing
lied
it
once.
again. And now no, but twice because the same thing happened in high school. She cheated with
Oh
an
yeah, yeah.
ex.
She cheated on the ex and then she
Yeah.
lied. So it's like, there's no way you could believe potentially, now she's saying, "Oh yeah, we're separated and divorcing."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's no way for you to know that. And track record says that you probably shouldn't believe that. So
Yeah.
absolutely cut that off.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you spent years feeling like you did something horrible. Uh,
You did not.
you
No, you
didn't.
did
You
not.
did
You were
not
not
have all
told.
the information, right? You did not have all the information. And even I do
Yeah.
want to add, I think also when it comes to like growing up and becoming adults and all that stuff, even if let's just say for fun argument's sake, let's say you do something bad and you do regret it. Okay. Well, then eventually you grow up and you realize that was bad, why it was bad, why I won't do it again. It's also normal, even if you had done it knowingly that it was a mistake and you won't do it. Like, I think sometimes we don't give people enough room to grow and learn, right? Like this lady now could be a fully grown adult that also regrets having done this, right? She could also now
Yeah.
be like, I should not have cheated on this person, blah, 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 blah. And even everybody kind of deserves repentance, forgiveness. I don't know the word.
Yeah, not with this guy specifically, but
Yeah,
she
exactly.
lives
No,
if she lives her life right from now
yeah,
on, she shouldn't be like punished forever. But
exactly.
in this particular situation, you should not feel guilty for what
No.
happened. I understand trust issues are you can't just get over a trust issue, but there are absolutely great people out there who will not lie to you twice and potentially more times than that.
All right. So let's see. I moved in with my ex after we broke up. Yes, it was a mess.
I was looking at that one. I was like, we're gonna do that one, aren't we?
It's because it like follows. I just feel like it follows so well into already this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're just doing like messy ex and relationship breakup things. This is a gossip stream now.
It's
Let's
always
go.
a gossip stream. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because I do not. I cannot imagine. Okay, wait. Is this gonna be? I've so now that I'm a much older woman. Not every single ex-husband of mine that's been cannibalized was like, some of them I don't talk to ever again, but there's a few where it's like, they will try again. And when I was younger, my parents made me believe that, oh, men are always going to try again because you were so amazing. But sometimes it isn't. Sometimes they really are just trying again. It's not really that deep.
Mm-mm-mm.
But this one person, we're definitely like friends, and it also helps that we don't interact all the time. So I think a
Yeah.
lot of this resentment happens if you like break up and try being friends. But with this person, it was like 20 years ago. We both
Mm-hmm,
live
mm-hmm.
in different places throughout the years. My mother still has him on Facebook. And she'll be like, "Oh my God, did you see he posted this photo? Oh my God, did you see he wished me a happy birthday?" And I'm always like, please don't, like, I don't need to know. It's fine. We're good. But very recently, he basically reached out to me to ask me if I want to move to San Diego because in the past we've talked about living in San Diego together. And
Uh-huh.
we kind of talked about like, if we get older and we're both without partners, if we'd want to live together just to like save on costs and things like that. And I kind of
Oh,
had
kind
to
of
be
like
like,
those
wait,
marriage pacts where it's like if we're both single at 40, then we'll marry that you make when you're
kind
like a
of.
kid.
Yeah, but like again, we talked about this again 15 years ago, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 15 years ago, I told you that when I'm 40 and single, yeah, we could do it. But now that I'm 40 and single, like, no, I don't want to do it. But yeah, it was basically one of those where like, he just went to a wedding and he thought that maybe, suddenly he's like, maybe I could be a dad. And,
Mm-hmm.
so, but it's funny because then it made me think at first, my initial reaction was, no, why would I move in with somebody I went out with. But then I also thought about it and I thought, well, okay, I went out with somebody 15 to 20 years ago. What if they make a great roommate? What if they like, what if we buy a house together and then it like saves me on, But then also, but then I thought about it from another perspective. If I meet somebody and they ask me, oh, who are you living with? Oh, so I actually bought a house with my ex, but don't worry, it's my ex from 20 years ago. We don't have feelings or like how, and I don't blame any regular decent man for doing what I said I would do, which is like, okay, well, talk to me when you and this person don't own a house together anymore. Talk to me when you've moved out or they moved out, right? So as much as I'm like, yeah, that actually does make life easier, that I think about it, I'm like, oh, this would make finding a husband very complicated. Right?
It would. Yes. There's like a difference between like my roommate is a man, totally fine.
Yeah,
I think if like
yeah.
people get funny about that, that's too much.
Mhm,
But if it's
mhm.
like my person that I am legally, financially in debt with, who I used to date, but I'm not currently dating,
Yeah.
is living in the same house as me because we bought a house together. That's weird. No, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
It gets to that
I wouldn't
point,
want to tie
right?
myself to that just in case it got like messy to like
Mhm.
actually like break or to figure out how to actually divide that house, buy someone out, so on and so forth. If you did get serious and you wanted to move in with this person now, like yeah, no, that is a whole amount of financial mess if nothing else.
If
So no,
yeah,
fuck that.
exactly. And then but it's the same thing for him too, where it's like if he starts dating a woman, right? Like how are you going to explain to her that, like as a woman, if you tell her, "Oh yeah, I'm living with my ex, but don't worry, it's my ex from like 20 years ago, back, when we were youths and it's actually not that deep or anything, but I did reach out to her when I went to it just adds too many layers, I think, to this kind of thing.
Yeah, no,
It
that's
really
more than fair.
does. All right. Let's get to this. Let's get to the story. I moved in with my ex after we broke up. Yes, it was a mess. Before I start, let me just say, I know it was dumb. I love that is a great way to start any story. I love it. I was in my 20s, figuring things out, and made a choice that now makes me facepalm. But hey, something good did come out of it, so I'm not too pressed anymore. At the time, I was bouncing between unstable living situations. I'd moved out of my childhood home when my parents divorced, stayed with my dad for a while, and eventually ended up back at that house once he won it in the settlement. It was chaotic, but it worked for a little while. Somewhere in the middle of that, I met someone. He had been my older siblings' longtime online best friend, and we were all part of a close knit friend group. Ah, yes, the close knit friend group. um, One day he slid into my DMs with flirty messages. Ooh, I flirted back. Things escalated quickly, and soon we had a casual friends with benefits kind of thing going. I'm just gonna very quickly
Mm.
impart knowledge that Heavenly has taught me. Um, Heavenly said something so interesting when we had our episode and we talked about this. He said, friends with benefits only works if you A, do not sleep over. B, the moment one person says, let's stop this, I caught feelings, you fully stop this. And what was the third one? I think it was like no sleepovers, no staying over the night, and no like getting food after it. So no dates, no like let's go for food and
Right.
then let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I remember hearing that being like, man, Heavenly, you would have saved me so much heartache in my youth. Where were you with this knowledge?
Mhm.
So I am going to impart to anybody who has not watched Heavenly Father's episode this knowledge onto you. Obviously, great episode, but number one, no dates. Number two, no sleeping over. Number three, if one person asks to end it, you end it. Like no
Yep.
questions asked.
Yep.
I guess you end it or you start dating. I guess that's like the only, right? Like that's yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The problem, I got feelings fast. I decided to be
Yep.
upfront about it. He told me he'd think about it. But since he was polyamorous, he needed to run us by his partners first. I like that partners already. There's already multiple people. Totally fair. But then
A collective.
a collective. Yeah, a polycule. He took 2 weeks to get back to me. During that time, he said he wanted to date me, but hadn't gone around to talking to them yet. At first, I played it cool. But by the end of the wait, I was a nervous wreck. Finally, he asked me out and we started dating. But the whole thing was already on shaky ground. Around then, my sibling, their fiance, my new boyfriend, soon to be ex, and one of his partners started making plans to move out of state together. I was invited, and honestly, I was excited. I'd never had an in person relationship before, and I saw this as my chance to really start something new and meaningful. Oh, this whole time they were still just online?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
it's all right. We drove 13 hours to meet up and tour houses. It should have been exciting, but the entire trip he was cold, distant. I'd try to sit next to him, hold his hand, cuddle, and he'd pull away. Ah! I'm so upset for you. I'm so sorry this is happening. Okay, I think my second coffee definitely is affecting me now, Limes. At one point, he literally chose to cuddle his other partner instead of me just to avoid me. Oh, I cried more than once on that trip, blaming myself, thinking I had done something wrong. After another grueling 13-hour drive home, the day after we got back, he sent me a long text breaking up with me. He said he didn't want to ruin the trip by doing it sooner. Oh my God. We'd only been together a few weeks, but I'd gotten my hopes up and it crushed me. He said I didn't have to move if I didn't want to. But in my infinite, I'm trying to be mature wisdom, I moved in anyway. And yeah, it was exactly as bad as it sounds. Oh no. All right, before we continue the story, where do you think the story is going to go?
I think, I mean, the partner was involved, right? So it's gonna be them pining and the guy with the partner, and they're just gonna be sad the entire time and probably
Oh,
emotionally manipulated
yeah.
and yeah, like they'll probably be nasty. Like
I
presumably this is I want one more person to split the rent with situation.
probably. But also, you're already like six people. Like one person isn't going to even split the rent that much for you. If it's, let's
No.
say your rent is 3,000, two people, 1.5 each. That's a lot. Three people, 1,000. Like you're splitting, but four people, it like you're every time the rent splits by less and less and less. So if you have six people, you do
Mhm,
really need seven, you know? Do you
mhm.
really need seven? Anyway, I think the story is going to go in a direction where she accidentally breaks up the polycule and like they all get mad at each other. Or even better, there was no polyamory and she is surprised. But let's see.
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, it was exactly as bad as it sounds. The lease lasted a year. It was one of the worst years of my life. I didn't know anyone in the new state. My siblings' engagement fell apart.
Oh God.
I'm so sorry. What is this cursed house? But it makes for such a good story. I was isolated and miserable. And to top it off, I was diagnosed with a brain disorder. I'm so sorry. That turned my entire world upside down. I'm so sorry.
What is this? What is this year? This
Yeah,
year
this is the
sucked.
word. Yeah, I'm so sorry. And the ex, he and his partner were not mature about the situation. Despite us moving to be closer to them, they ghosted us. During the move out, they didn't lift a finger to help clean the house, stole my siblings' kitchen stuff, and completely stopped talking to us. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because one of my friends, she had somebody move out and they took all her cutlery and she was like,
Oh,
my fucking
that's so
cutlery! It's my
that's so
cutlery!
petty. Why would you do that?
So I'm just thinking about this here where it's like, oh my God. And that's why I'm laughing because it just reminds me of like the petty move out things that happen.
Mhm,
Oh my
mhm.
God. I'm so sorry. Um, then lift a finger to help to help clean the house, stole my siblings' kitchen stuff, and completely stopped talking to us. One moment that really stuck with me. He helped my sibling take down their furniture, but when I asked for help with mine, he said he wasn't feeling well. I had to beg him to help me another time, and I'm physically weak, so I really needed it. I'm sorry. Ugh. The move out process was a disaster. He had family and friends around to help him, but left me and my sibling to struggle on our own, which delayed everything by 2 full days. He turned into someone cruel, uncaring, and completely unrecognizable. I always say this, you don't really know somebody until you get into an argument with them and disagree with them.
Mhm.
Everybody is so freaking nice all the time. But then once you're like, no, I disagree. This is, where I draw the line in the sand. Seeing how people turn out in this situation is always really, really important. Ugh. Anyway, um, sorry. But despite all of that, there was one silver lining. In searching for support related to my brain disorder, I ended up meeting my current partner. Let's go. They are everything. Thoughtful, kind, emotionally intelligent, the complete opposite of what I dealt with before. And they're the only good thing. And then the one good thing to come out from that hellish year. And I wouldn't trade that experience away if it meant I never got to meet them. So yes, I made a terrible decision, but somehow it led me exactly where I needed to be. This story went in a place that neither you or I saw. It went into a more beautiful place. What the
Yeah, no,
heck?
it's nice.
Oh, that is so sweet. That is so
I'm glad
sweet.
it turned out well because the descent into just worse and worse and worse was very like terrible in a funny way.
I'm glad to hear it because it's one of those things where, again, back to the whole thing of allowing yourself to make mistakes. Yeah, nowadays we can look at you and tell you it's bad to move in with this place, but you were young. You kind of have
Mhm.
to do those things yourself to know that, hey, this is now you know it's a bad idea to do this kind of stuff. And as you said, it did lead you to discover your current partner that you value even more because you've been with a bad partner.
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
maybe subjective, but like you've been with somebody uncaring, cruel, and cold. So because of that, now that you're with a partner who is caring, kind, sweet, supportive, you value that even more, right?
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where like I wouldn't wish bad experiences on anybody, but a lot of the time those bad experiences allow us to be in somewhere better long term
Hmm.
because they teach you not to be dumb in the future.
Yeah. And they teach you also what be like, I think if you're always around people that treat you nicely, unfortunately, there is a thing where you kind of take it a little bit for granted. I've said this before, but I have a really good friend circle. But sometimes when I hear a story about people who aren't good friends, or maybe I deal with somebody that I realize I can't be close friends with, it makes me value my close friends even more. I'm like, oh yeah, I picked some
Mhm,
really, really
mhm.
good ones there. Okay, good, good, good. Sometimes you need that little wake me up, right? Like that little flying too close to the sun moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Good on you, honestly, and I hope you're getting even more help with your brain things, and I hope you recover good. Or if it's not a recovery situation, I hope you deal with it well, and I wish you the best. All right, thank you for
Yeah, I
submitting.
hope you are in a comfortable or a more comfortable
Yeah.
situation now.
Your turn, baby girl.
Let's see. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm.
What's she gonna read? Where's she gonna go? Bada bada ba. What does she want to
I'm
do?
like, let me think.
I know, big decision.
I could could do a little we could like do a little nice light one or break from all the relationship stuff.
Uh
The
huh.
Great Thin Mint Heist, age
Ooh,
5 edition.
exciting, exciting. Poor Live. She's like, I didn't sign up for relationship coaching today. That's the beauty.
No,
You
it's
don't know what
fine.
they're going to be
It's fine.
about.
We specifically picked them. Like, you
Yeah,
know, I could have dodged that, but no, I think it's interesting.
me too.
All right, so here we go. Here we go. When I was a child, I lived in a trailer park with my sisters. My younger sister and I would always go out and explore the neighborhood. We were probably around 5 years old. It was a relatively safe neighborhood back then, at least compared to what it's like now.
Mm.
Did you spend most of your childhood out of the house?
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah?
or
Yeah, me
at night
too, me
on the
too.
PC. Out of the house and on the PC were the two out of like
Yeah,
if in the
the 2
house.
state was
Yeah.
1 playing video game, 2 out of the house. Like, I remember I just biked everywhere
Oh
and,
my
like, I
god.
was
Yeah.
just constantly like, I even did that stereotypical, like, catching frogs kinda thing. I went out and caught some frogs.
No, I was always out of the house, and that's why
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
surprised to hear kids like nowadays. Everybody's in the house because I was just out. And oh my
But
goodness,
yeah.
when I was allowed to walk back from school for lunch, I think age 11, oh, or 10,
Mhm, mhm.
it opened up even more of my world because now I'm like, wait, are you telling me I can go for a walk near my school? Oh my
Yeah, yeah, no,
god.
I get, like, obviously there are reasons for it, but
Yeah.
sometimes, like, I live near a school, and it sometimes drives me crazy when I see people. So it's, like, 3 streets away, and
Mhm.
sometimes I will see the parents get in their gigantic ass, like, Range Rover, drive 3 streets to the school, get their kids, and drive back, and it's like,
No,
you know, maybe there might be a reason for it, you know, like,
of
but,
course.
like, at the same time, it's like, it's really nice to walk that. Like, it takes less time as well because the amount of people doing it means that, like, the parents are queuing for, like, a solid fucking hour to actually
Mm-mm-mm.
pick up their kids, so it's like
I mean, also it was shopping malls. Like when I finally, you get maybe $3-4. You walk a Canadian, you walk to a Tim Hortons to get an iced cappuccino that you split with like your three friends. It costs like $1.50. And then you walk to the
Mhm.
mall and then you just sit at the mall. You all pool your little money together for maybe one meal or maybe a burger and you just sit at the mall all
Yeah,
day. You walk
yeah,
around. That's all you
yeah.
really did.
Yeah, I used to go there was, like, a corner store near where I grew up, and you used to go in there and, like, buy sweets and like, sausage
Mhm.
rolls and stuff like that, and then you would, like, share and eat those while riding around looking for things to do and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, no, that was great. I like that.
Mhm, mhm.
The yeah, there are still kids that, like, obviously do that
Of
now,
course.
which is nice, but yeah, sometimes I'm like
Not a
yeah,
phone or
anyway.
iPad in sight. Not us aging
Kids these
ourselves.
days,
Kids these
oh,
days.
back in my day, we walked uphill to school both ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
also, yeah, cooking and cleaning and doing our homework without the help of Chat GPT.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I honestly I think it's totally fine for everyone to do what they want, but I do get a little bit sad when you get those people, or when you get when it's like, the kids aren't allowed outside. Like maybe the situation is different. Obviously, I don't have kids.
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm not planning on having kids, so maybe I don't see what the world is like now. But sometimes when it's like, oh, I would never let my kids outside by themselves, it's like it's such a
Mm,
cool experience that they lose, though,
yeah.
and that sucks.
I also
Mm,
wonder, but I promise I'll let you get back to the story soon. I also
Yeah, of course.
wonder, so something that's happened now with like more internet, more TV, more radio. I wonder if also like more about this stuff, right? So, example, there was always bad things happening all over the world. We just didn't know about it as much.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
now it feels like every single time there's a YouTube video about it, there's this, there's that, the rise of true crime, things. So maybe because of that as well. And in general, when I feel that we used to all kind of live closer as well. Like it used to be, I don't know if it's the same thing with most schools, but they used to be neighborhood schools where if you went to that school, you had to live in the neighborhood. But I know for a
Mm-mm.
fact as I got older, that changed. You would then go to schools that are far from you just to be in the best school or things like that. So I wonder if that also makes a difference, right? Whereas
Yeah,
before, you're kind of going
it
to the
is.
same school with everybody in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to read up on it because I don't claim to actually be well informed enough to really be able to make a statement on it. And it'd be interesting to know if, like, are things more dangerous or are we just more aware of things because, yeah,
Yeah.
information
Hmm.
disseminates so much quicker on social media and things like that. And then
If
there's like
anything, you'd think things are
scaremongering and stuff like
less
that.
dangerous because there's more people recording, there's more people watching, right? You
Yeah.
never know. All right. I'll let
Hmm.
you read the story. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Okay. Okay. 1 second. I had to push my phone back into its cradle because it
Ah,
was threatening to throw itself out and onto the table
no,
again.
don't throw yourself. You're too beautiful. Don't die.
You've got so much to live for.
You got so many
Okay,
streams to
okay.
do.
Anyway, one day my younger sister was sick and I was bored out of my mind. I couldn't stay indoors, I had way too much energy, so I went off exploring by myself. As I wandered around, I came upon a trailer where the door was unlocked.
Ooh. Oh no.
So, of course, I walked in. I didn't see anyone inside. I never did that as a kid. I
Nope,
wouldn't go
nope, nope.
trying doors.
Me neither. Nope, 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 nope. Absolutely not.
No, no. Outside my domain, indoors not so much. All right, so of course I walked in. Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't
Duh.
just walk into some weird, like, strange house?
Yeah, let me just
I
do
didn't see
that.
anyone inside, and then I saw them sitting on one of the tables next to a couch, the box of Thin Mints. What are Thin Mints?
Little thin cookies that taste like cookie and mint. They're Girl Scout
So,
cookies. They're
like,
very big in the States.
ah, I see. I'm Googling.
Yeah,
I'm
look them up. They're
Oh,
like thin.
okay.
They kind of taste like after eight. They're really, really nice.
I was gonna say, is it like After
Yeah,
Eights, just
yeah.
thicker?
They're
Got you, got
no, no,
you.
thinner, thinner, thinner.
After
So it kind of
Eights are
like
pretty
does
thin
that.
too.
Oh, maybe, but they're really good. They're
Yeah,
really, really
After
good.
Eights are.
Oh,
Oh, that one's
stop!
full of
I'm
cream. No,
craving them now.
no, no.
No.
This is what I thought when I said After Eights. That's thinner than what I'm seeing. This is an After Eight.
So okay, yeah, it's thicker. It's more like a cookie. So the after eight is just like the cream.
Yeah,
It's more like a
yeah.
cookie. It's so good. Oh,
Okay,
I'm
okay. I
looking
see.
away.
I
I'm
see.
looking
It's
away.
it's
I'm
like
looking
somewhere
away.
between like an After Eight and an Oreo,
Yeah,
almost.
yeah. Great,
Okay,
great,
okay,
great
okay.
analogy. Oh,
Got you. Now here's the thing: I wasn't allowed to have sugar. Why? Because my older sister had ADHD. Back then, it was still called ADD,
mm.
so nobody in the house could have anything sweet. Total ban. Does sugar actually affect ADHD?
I don't
Is
know,
that one of those myths?
but I don't know if it affects, but definitely you can get like sugar highs and stuff, right? Like sugar, for example, I had 2 coffees and
Yeah.
I'm feeling on top of the world, you know? Caffeine, sugar,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so a sugar-starved 5-year-old in a stranger's trailer alone with a box full of forgotten treasure, and I
Oh
ate every
no.
single one of those Thin Mints. My stomach is hurting just thinking about that,
Same,
actually.
same, same.
How many are usually in a box? Like, a
Uh
box implies a lot.
Again, think about like a box of Oreo cookies. It's a full box.
Hold
It's
on.
a full box. I love I do the same. This is one of my favorite things about Limes, by the way. She'll Google things because sometimes
Yeah,
people
I'm
will
like,
say
what
stuff
does
and
a
I'm like,
Thin Mint box look like?
sometimes
Yeah.
when people ask me questions, I will answer and I'll say Google it, but I don't mean it. Somebody I remember one time asked me, how do I cook things on my oven or how do I do my laundry and this? I'm like, honestly, every new time I go to an Airbnb or a new place and there's a laundry machine, I just Google
Mhm,
that
mhm,
laundry
mhm.
machine and I look up somebody online on YouTube doing laundry on that machine. It's that easy. I Google and I YouTube everything.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently in the 90s, I don't know when this story's from, but
Hmm.
in the 90s there were 32 to 38 in a box. So that's
Ooh, that's
that's
a lot for
oh
a
god,
5-year-old as
my
well.
stomach.
Oh.
Yeah, no thank you. All right, just as I was finishing the last cookie, I heard something outside. The owner of the trailer had come home. I panicked, thinking I was about to get caught and go to jail forever as 5-year-old logic
Yep,
goes.
yep, yep, yep,
Can
yep.
confirm I thought I was going to get a comeuppance for taking a Pokemon card. Once I like found a Pokemon card that was
Mm.
just out in the open, and I was like, I'm going to jail. Um,
This is it. Yeah, they're gonna think I stole it. Oh, I could relate. I maybe allegedly stole candy before as a kid, and then I same thing. I was walking around being like, I'm going to jail. I'm a criminal for stealing this candy.
mine wasn't that bad. Mine was like I think it was a Pokemon card that had been confiscated the year before or something, and was like,
Mm.
like I don't know, it was like on the teacher's desk or something, and I was like, I will give you a home Pokemon card.
Oh
Um,
God. Oh God.
yeah, but yeah. Thinking I was about to get caught and go to jail forever, I dove behind one of the couches to hide. Stranger danger, I know, but I was 5. And the man who walked in was somewhat heavyset as he entered through the same front door I had. He sat down in front of the coffee table right near the now empty box of Thin Mints, and started rummaging through some things. Then he
Ooh.
got up and walked into the other room, maybe the bathroom, maybe his bedroom, I'll never know. The second he was out of sight, I bolted out like a door like a lightning bolt. To this day, I still think that might have been the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I'm glad I learned my lesson early and I've never repeated that mistake. The Thin Mints were totally worth
Oh my God. That is such a sweet story. What the heck?
it.
But also scary. And I'm kind of scared for the man as well. Like, if you're just an innocent little man living your best life, and then there's a kid in your house, and like, what if the parents come in and they're like, "You took my kid, you stole my kid," and you're just like, "I'm just living my best life." Like your kid
Yeah.
came into my house, ate my cookies. Screw your kid.
Yeah, that guy lost his whole box of Thin
Yeah,
Mints.
for
How much
what?
are they?
Probably like
Thin
$4,
Mints
3. Yeah,
cost.
yeah. It'd be like Thin Mints in today's money. Because oh wait,
Yeah, yeah.
Thin Mints back, let's do like 1995 just for funsies.
Apparently it's $6 a box as of 3 months ago. So
Price of Thin Mints 1995.
the only option I have to buy Thin Mints is apparently eBay. They're like, yo, Thin Mints cookies on eBay.
Okay, hear me out. They
Yeah.
were $1.50 in 1990. $1.50 USD 1990 in today's money. Hold on. It's about $3.69 today.
So wait,
that
does
being
that mean that that
$6.50?
means that inflation have pumped it up to $6? That's crazy.
So it went from 150 to 669, 369. But you said that now the box is 650
Yeah,
So they just
I
doubled the
looked it
price.
up, the cost of Thin Mints, and
for fun.
like that person, yeah, Girl Scout cookies are $6 a box this year, posted to inflation. That's a weird subreddit.
Unbelievable. So yeah.
My brain did not go to a good place there. I was like, wait, what?
You know the worst part? I found out by accident because somebody was playing balloons and they had that and they were like, oh, and they were making jokes. And I was like, I don't get it. And then it was Octo. Of course, it's always Octo when it comes to this kind of stuff. And Octo on stream had to stop and be like, Matara, do you not know what this means?
Well, they always have that like joke where they're like, or it's like a meme where they're like, yeah, such and such has increased year on year by X% since such and such a year. Google, like, I don't know, like English person inflation to know more or something because they're trying to trick you into like searching something fucking cursed or something like that. That's
I didn't
always funny.
know. I didn't know. Oh my God. I think, wow, this time around, we are actually breezing through these. How do you feel? We've been at it for an hour.
I know, it went really
It
fast.
does. I'd say this. How about we do one more story, which I think will
Mhm,
be our
mhm.
shortest episode with only 5 stories. What the heck? But let's do one more story. Would you like to
Okay.
do it? Would you like me to do it? What do you
You
prefer?
go ahead, whichever
Okay.
one you like, because the
Okay.
rest of them mostly have long word counts, so I don't want to talk.
The time I accidentally set a field on fire and blamed Beavis and Butthead. I think that could be a
This one's gonna
funny,
be fun because I've
funny
never
one.
seen Beavis and Butthead, and I'm about to get outed.
It's okay. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember much of it. I just remember thinking that they weren't like super well drawn or animated, so I didn't like that. There's a lot of
That was I think if it's what I think it is, yeah. No, this is one of those shows where it was like I don't want to watch it because it's ugly.
yeah. I mean, listen, sorry, but that's how we felt. All right. When I
Yeah.
was about 13, I had a group of friends I hang out with constantly. We weren't exactly saints, not bad people, but definitely not good influences either. It's fine. All 13-year-olds are like that. Don't worry about it. Mostly, we stole little things from stores, candy, lighters, and back then when we were still kept, and back then, oh, sorry. And back when they were still kept on the front counter, cigarettes. Oh, if it could fit in a sleeve, it was fair game. All right. Cigarettes being on the front counter is like 1970s, I think. Or like 1980. Like cigarettes have not been on the front counter.
They're all like very locked behind cabinets these days.
Yeah. Now you can't even show the cigarettes. But even for a while, I think like if I'm remembering in the 90s and the 80s and stuff, it was like still behind the counter. So you're old. I'm calling you
Mhm.
out. I like that. We like old people here. We had a secret hangout, a clubhouse in an abandoned yard with a bunch of trees in the middle of a field. We'd go there to chill, smoke, and just talk about whatever. It was our place. Eventually, we all grew apart. Life happened. I ended up moving in with my mom after she and my dad split. A few years later, some more stuff went down, and I ended up moving back in with my dad, right back at the same apartment complex where my old friends and I used to hang out. Feeling nostalgic, I decided to visit our old spot. Now, I still carried a lighter with me, even though I didn't smoke anymore. Just a leftover habit, and I've always kind of been a firebug. So I was walking through the field, playing with my lighter, lighting patches of dry grass on fire. Okay. Then quickly stomping them out, safely, like a total idiot. Then one patch got away from me. Dun dun dun. Before I knew it, the whole place was engulfed in flames. Um, I'm talking full blaze in less than a minute. I freaked out. I wasn't trying to burn buildings down or anything. I was a little shit, not a monster. So I ran out of there panicking, trying to find someone to help. Eventually, I flagged someone down and they called the fire department. Luckily, they got there fast and were able to put it out before it spread too far. Crisis averted. Sort of. Then came the police. They asked me what happened. I knew I'd get nailed for arson if I told the truth. So I panicked again and came up with the dumbest lie imaginable. Uh, I told them I saw 2 kids set the fire. One was blonde, wearing a blue Metallica shirt. The other had brown hair, braces, and a gray AC/DC shirt. Yes, I blamed Beavis and Butthead for starting a literal field fire. The crazy part, the cops actually found 2 kids who matched that exact description. No way. They brought them over to me, and the second I
Mm.
saw them, I knew it wasn't them. I couldn't go through with it. I looked at the officers dead in the eyes and said, no, that's not them. They let the kids go. I still don't know if the cops suspected it was actually me. If they did, they never said anything. But the guilt and the fact that I tried to pin arson on cartoon characters has stuck with me ever since. Damn you, Beavis and Butthead. Oh my God. I can't believe it. The fact that they found 2 kids is crazy. But also, 2 young boys wearing Metallica and AC/DC is super believable for me, right? I feel like at one point when Walmart and stuff like that started stocking those shirts, every parent would get them. No? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like, well, I mean, I used to like steal my dad's stuff.
There we go. There we go.
Mhm.
Mm, I like it. I'm glad you didn't get in trouble, but I'm a little bit confused about some of the age in this story, right? Because at first you were 13, but then later you got older, but you were still, then again, still lighting things on fire. I feel like that's just pyromania stuff, right? Some people stay a little bit on the pyromania kick for quite
Yeah,
long.
like that's pretty crazy. I how old were you where you still were like, let me just light things on fire in this
But
field?
at the
Because it was like
same time,
at 13,
okay,
you can swing it, but
you say this, but that's because we're adult women. But how many times have you seen boys love you very much, but like even a 16-year-old boy being like, look at me do this crazy thing. Like, freaking look at what was the name of the Steve-O show where Johnny Knoxville hurt his pee-pee. Or was it Steve-O that hurt his pee-pee?
What?
Jackass. Grown men like still do yeah. So I actually think
okay.
now that I think
Yeah,
about it,
yeah.
it's even more and more believable that like you could be an adult, be like lighting fields on fire and stuff. It's even more believable now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah, yeah. It's just boys will be boys. I get you. I get you. Oh, limes.
Yeah.
That
No, I
that.
was just gonna
Mhm.
say that that's so much damage.
It is. It is. I'm just glad that it didn't go anywhere worse. But thank you so much for submitting your stories. I can't believe it. This
Yeah,
was like
thank you.
one of our shorter episode stories. We did so much yapping, girl.
Yeah, no, it was like, some story, and then it was like, wait, I remember what this thing that happened to me that's very relevant, because it was all relationships. I
Yeah.
gravitated towards the relationship drama. What does that
Uh-huh.
say about me?
I want to know, have you ever lit things on fire like that?
No, I never did any pyromania. Um, I don't think. I'm trying to think of like if I ever did something. Hold on, let
I
me.
do really love a nice fire, but not in a pyromania way. I do really love yes. I do really
I should
love
have picked that one. Holy.
you still have time. So I do really
Oh,
love
let me have a
when
look.
there's like a nice fire at like the cottage or anything where it's like charcoal is burning on a nice campfire and it's all protected. I feel so mesmerized.
Mm.
I always love
Yeah,
that.
no, I never did anything like that. I was actually like ridiculously goody two shoes, really. Like never I don't think I ever smoked a cigarette, didn't drink underage, didn't set anything on fire. No, I never did anything like that.
Yeah. Limes is currently eyeing a story. That's why, I mean, hey, you want to read it? You want to keep it for next time? Up to you.
Next time I think, because I like just that's going to that I think that's going to prompt a lot of questions
Yep,
from me.
yep. Well,
So if you
we're
can tuck
keeping it
that one
short
away, I'm
and
looking
sweet.
forward to it.
All right. We're going to keep this one short and sweet, everybody. But next time,
Mhm,
actually,
mhm.
I would love to have you on and potentially go through that legal subreddit that you talked about. That could be really fun.
Yeah, like we could look at like the best of stories from legal
Yeah.
advice and things like that.
Hmm.
That would be really
Hmm.
fun because there's some really juicy stuff, and
Yeah.
there's also like lots of like meta stuff, which is fun. Like
Hmm.
occasionally tree law it
What
pops
is
up. I don't
tree
think so
law?
much anymore, but it's basically where the best of legal advice or the legal advice subreddits really enjoy anything that has to do with like someone cutting down a tree they weren't supposed to, because people don't realize that
Oh,
actually that shit can cost you thousands
wait.
depending on
You
like
can't
how
just cut,
expensive the
you
tree
can't
is.
like cut a tree on your property?
Depends. It's usually like people having it's
Ooh.
people having disputes over things usually, and then it's like I think it's usually like,
Ooh.
my neighbor didn't like this and then did this to my tree, and now and it's like what repercussions do I have? And then a bunch of lawyers are like I'm they rub their hands greedily because these trees are actually worth thousands based because they've been growing for, tens to hundreds of years kind of
Oh
level of stuff. So yeah, it can get real juicy, but yeah, we could look at some legal advice stories because that was one of my favorite things. There's also things like hobby drama.
no.
I
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
like I
yeah.
like story. I like
I'm
story things on
definitely
Reddit.
gonna
They're
have you
fun.
in for those because again,
Okay.
we did initially start the show with viewer submission only, but I do think it makes it really fun if we break every few episodes for like best of, because we don't want to just make it reading Reddit stories, but I think if we had
Mhm.
it where it's
Mhm.
like a specific topic, with Michi we did scary ones, right? With you we can
Yeah.
do the legal ones, or even like ask people to show me their favorite subreddits. That's fun.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. No, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm already like being like, what
Yeah, yeah,
story
yeah.
shall I pick out? Because I need to revisit them because like the subreddit used to be really popular,
Mm-hmm,
but it was one
mm-hmm.
of those ones, I don't know if you know, like a year or so ago, a bunch of subreddits like shut down in protest of something Reddit was doing. I
Oh,
can't even
yeah,
remember
I
what the
forget
cause
to.
was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bunch of them will shut down, and it's one of those subreddits that didn't recover so well. Like, it has a million
Ah,
subscribers, but now there's
no
like 60
stories.
people there at
I
any
get
one
it.
time.
I
So,
get
like,
it.
it kind of like died out a bit.
Well,
So,
I'll tell you
yeah,
what,
I'd like to
I'm
revisit.
super interested in that. Maybe I can have you on in like 2-3 weeks and we can go again
Yay!
before episode 10. Let's do it. And
Hell yeah, yeah,
anything
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to talk about, anywhere that people can find you? What kind of games do you stream? What kind of stuff do you do?
Oh, yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Limealicious, and then you can also find me on YouTube under, God, what is my username on YouTube?
Lime Malicious,
People
probably,
are
no?
like, she's the shorts girl, and I'm like, yeah, I remember my
It's
own
Lime
YouTube
Malicious. It's
username.
at Lime
It's at
Malicious.
Limealicious. Yeah, it's just Limealicious. But yeah, you can find me on those places. I play video games. I like them. Right now, I
Yeah.
am playing Liza P and Night Rain and Monster Hunter when they update, and then Kingdom
Mhm.
Come Deliverance sometimes when I actually like have time. Stuff like that.
Heck yeah. And if you take a look at her channel, both of us have the Resident Evil co-op, so you can watch it from our POVs and you
Yeah.
can take a look at it. Thank you for joining me today live. I
Of
really
course, of
appreciate it.
course.
To everybody listening at home, thank you so much for sticking around with us. We really appreciate you. Thank you for your comments. I've been taking a lot of your suggestions to heart, especially the suggestion to kind of yap with the guest a lot more in the middle of the stories, but not too much that it distracts from the story. And I will see you all soon. Remember to keep submitting stories and stay safe, stay confidential. Bye-bye.
Bye.